So hey there. So this is my submission for the MongoDB Atlas Hackathon, which is being organized by both in joint collaboration with MongoDB and Dev, uh, Dev.2 platform, and it's being hosted on cloud, and we have to make something on cloud MongoDB, and yeah. So these were some categories. So b- my submission category would be choose your own adventure. Yeah, so my category would be choose your own adventure, and we have to build something utilizing the MongoDB Atlas. So what I'll use is Atlas Search and a dedicated MongoDB server. Yeah, I could also use the Atlas serverless instances, but since it showed that it's in the preview stage, and whenever there is, you see, just a second, there's a connect option, and whenever I try to connect with my MongoDB Compass, it would show that my MongoDB Compass or my Python, whenever I try to connect using my Python, it would show that it's not supported. So that's why I didn't choose the, yeah. So this, yeah. So serverless instances are in the preview release and do not support some of the Atlas features at this time. So that's why I have to drop the idea of serverless instance and go on with a dedicated MongoDB server. So first I'll show you the example on how it works actually. Yeah, so first I'll show you an example on actually how it looks like, what it is. So my project name is Konahagaku Research. So basically it's a search engine. Yes, you heard me right. Basically it's a search engine. So like whatever you search, you get your results like in Google. So basically, it's a Google-like search engine. So what it tried to manipulates here, that it uses AI, ML, NLP, and BDA for the better search and queries, and it's also abides by secure coding practices. And also, yeah, the search engine takes a keyword or expression as an input and crawls the web if the data is not present in its own database. The database, yeah, I'm showing you here, yeah. So in its own database, and if it's not present in the database, it crawls the web and then stores the data and then present you in a more attractive or pretty way. And yeah, this search can be as robust as possible. It can correct misspelled query or suggest some other similar terms. Yeah. So now first let me show you the working. So first I'll select to show this is my original name actually. I'll just press enter and wait for it. Actually, it's all depends upon your system performance. My system is a bit slow, so that's why it took time. There you can see how many results. About 67 results in this many seconds. Whoa, that's really cool. You can see it also has a pagination feature. I'll go to page number 7. You can see it's loaded pretty fast. Yeah. What's it? It's see Google Groups. I go to page number 2. Yeah, there you can see. Now I'll search MongoDB. Oh, sorry, my bad. MongoDB. Just a second. MongoDB. So what it does that whenever you do a search query, you can see it shows some autofill. These are the Google. These are mine autofills, and these are the Google autofills. So it stores your search query in the session which is actually created. Let me show you. Cookie session storage, just a second. Yeah, so there you can see a session cookie. It stores the search query in the session cookie, and then whenever you type here, it presents as a uh, autocomplete. So I'll search first MongoDB, then press enter, wait for it. I told you it all depends upon your system performance, and since my system is actually slow, so yeah. So there you can see MongoDB. Yeah, there are many. I'll search MongoDB Atlas Hackathon. There you can see announcing MongoDB Atlas Hackathon. My submission and all, making queries, Django documents, and all. So also, did you mind Monroe? Yeah, it's actually an AI, so it takes time to adapt to these situations. But yeah, uh, click on this also. There you can see announcing MongoDB Atlas hackathon on day, about 40 results in this many seconds. I'll just go by about 48 results in 0.089 seconds. Uh, so yeah, so this is how it works, and plus also it also has an endpoint submit site where you can actually submit your own site if you have any, like I have this site. Yeah, actually I'll submit this KYC uh, for this application to crawl at some point in the time. I'll just click submit and wait for it to submit. uh, yeah, so the crawling data was updated, plus it also has an admin panel also, the super user admin panel, what you say. So this my admin, there you can see there are log entries. Since I only use it, so there's one user. The crawled web page, these are the web pages that were actually uh, crawled. I'll show you one thing, how one thing looks like a crawled web page looks like. So yeah, keywords ranking, stripped request body, last crawled, since there were no meta tags and all, so it's empty. I'll go another GitHub forum. Yeah, so stripped request body, keywords, these are the keywords that were extracted from the bodies, and these are the keywords ranking and all. URL, the actual title which is present here, and these are the to be crawled web pages. I'll go to the to be crawl web pages. Yeah, so these are, yeah, actually I was doing something, and there are about 15,027 web pages that needs to be crawled. Like, let me tell you, uh, for example, you entered the dev.to domain. So what will happen, that it will just record the dev.to, and using the subfinder module of Go, it's an external module. I'll show you. Subfinder GitHub. Yeah. So yeah, using this subfinder module, it will find all of your subdomains and then record it here. And whenever the crawler is being run on the using the periodic task, it will crawl that web page and save it in database. And amount of crawled web page right now I have is 533. So yeah, so now let's move on to the hosting part of it, on how to host this project. So now let's move on to the hosting the Konohagakure search. So So I just view my app on GitHub. So I'll then move on the hosting guide. So Konagagure search actually requires Python 3.9, a latest version of Golang, MongoDB, since a local MongoDB server in case if you want to use local MongoDB server, or at the best a dedicated MongoDB Atlas server here in cloud.mongodb.com. Here you can using the create new cluster, and not serverless, you have to choose the dedicated one, and the AVS Mumbai tier is enough. And for the M10 configuration is enough for this project. I'll just go back, since I have already created a dedicated MongoDB cluster. And after so yeah so there's the after MongoDB we require RabbitMQ. Yes, so if you don't know what RabbitMQ is a message broker which actually act as a message broker you between these salary calls. So there's salary call also running, which actually does the periodic task. So it acts as a message broker, plus the site also uses RabbitMQ for its concurrent request. The site is also in async, the async Django. And what you require, Redis. So Redis is actually used for caching and nothing else. So packages that were actually required in making this project are Django, DB database URL, Celery, Django, Redis, HTML mean. Here is the full list, and here in this project we are actually using ORM, since natively Django ORM doesn't support the MongoDB. So that's why we have to use the Django, and in addition to some more complex kind of request which the Django mapper currently doesn't have. So we directly uses the PyMongo with its SRE utils. So now we have seen what all things is required. So first you have to download Python 3.9, Golang, either a dedicated MongoDB cluster or MongoDB in your local computer, RabbitMQ and a Redis. So now you have MongoDB, RabbitMQ and Redis. So first spin up the Redis and RabbitMQ server, and after that what you have to do is, since here I will be using a dedicated MongoDB server, so I'll show you here in the cloud.mongodb.com. After your cluster is created, it will look something like this. There won't be any disk usage or connection, since I have been using this cluster for quite a period of time. So there you can see the disk usage is around 1.7 GB, connections are 61. So don't worry about that. Now first what you have to do is go to browse collections, wait for it, then you have to create a database, and database name should be search. I repeat, search, SEARCH, all in small letters. And you can enter any collection name. I prefer search underscore collection, and just press enter. A search database would be created. After that what you have to do, after this you have to clone this repository using git clone https github.com/dhruvacube/search in .git. And after that you have to install this in a virtual environment. So in order for enabling the virtual environment, it's better that you install the virtual env package if you don't have it. So first install the virtual env package, pip install -upgrade virtual env. Then you have to enter the search engine folder. the folder which you have just recently cloned, and after that you have to activate the virtual env using this command. I'll just open a new terminal, and yeah, here you can see it's automatic in Visual Studio Code. Otherwise, if you are using console, like the PowerShell, yeah, so like the PowerShell, so what you have to do is, sorry about this, what you have to do is virtual env, okay, and after this, uh, virtual env, and after this you have to do env slash script slash activate to activate your virtual env, and virtual env would create your virtual environment, and to activate the virtual env you have to do this virtual env script slash activate. There you see the virtual environment is activated. Here you can see the virtual environment name env. Yeah, so after this what you have to do is install some minimum packages. So at first you have to do, uh, you have to do only pip install minus minus upgrade r minus requirements.txt in your console. Yeah, you have to just do this. It will install all its necessary packages. Yeah, here you don't have to do the pip install minus minus upgrade Django, and it's not required. All the requirements is mentioned in requirements.min.txt, and in the min.txt no version is mentioned, so it will automatically install the latest version except for the PyMongo, since I specifically require the PyMongo's 3.12.1 version. So apart from the PyMongo, it will all install its the newest, the latest version, and after this you have to install some AI, not AI trained module. So just go ahead and copy this and open the console, paste, enter. Simple. It will install all its required trained AI modules from the net. The Yeah, and now after this you have to also install a specific Go module, which is Subfinder, which I already told you about in the starting of the video. Just go copy the command and paste it in console and press enter. It will install the Subfinder from the GitHub. Now we have to set up the variables. To set up the environment variables, we have to rename the example.env. There you can see to .env. Let me first remove. Don't worry about this. There would be only one env, that is database URL, and that would be your Mongo, your Atlas connection string. And what Atlas connection string you have to choose, let me tell you that. Databases, yeah. So just go to your cluster dashboard and click on the connect, and then you have to click on connect using MongoDB Compass, and you have to choose the version 1.11 or earlier, okay, and just go ahead, copy and do the required changes. Copy this, do the required changes, and here uh, the one, since you have to rename the example.env, so it would become .env file, and here in the database URL you have to just replace this one with the necessary corrections. So yeah, now this is done. Now after this, so this is how you just go ahead and correct connect to the databases. Now this is not required. I don't know why I wrote it. Now start the RabbitMQ and Redis instance that I already told you, and then you have to migrate the data. To migrate the data, you have to just go ahead, copy this command python manage.py migrate, and open a new console with the virtual environment already being activated. I'll open a new console and go ahead and paste this. I'll go ahead and paste this python manage.py migrate, and then press enter. It will automatically migrate all the pre-required data. So don't worry about this warnings and these issues. It will show up in eventually, but yeah, it, it would just migrate the necessary data. And now there is also what I would say, a prerequisite, not a prerequisite, a a preset of 10 lakh uh, website URLs. Let me show you. Management commands data dump data.new.csv. I guess it will take time now. Yeah. So here are here are some URLs of top 10 lakhs website. So if you wish to enter and you have enough computing powers, you are most welcome to do so by just copying this command, by just entering this command, and it would actually go ahead and stored here. It's taking so much time. Yeah, so it will all the 10 lakh URLs would be stored here in the to be crawled web pages section. And to move from the to be crawled web pages section to web crawled pages, will soon come on that, on how to do the who do those kind of thing. Now we have to compress the static files using the python manage.py collects compress. It would compress the static files and store it in a safe place for you, rather in cache. It's running collect static now it's running compressing those statics file. So it's finished. Now here you can see a new folder static file would be created with with compressed css, javascript and all. Or if it's not compressed, then it will be automatically compressed during the production, or sorry, not production, it would be automatically compressed during the development whenever you try to load file using the python manage.py run server. And now you have to create super user for site. Just copy this command, paste it. It will ask for some required details like your name, email and all. Just give it. It will create the super user. This one I'll show you an example. Yeah, so first you have to choose an username. I'll select Shaw, and you have to select an email address. I'll shaw@shaw.com. Press enter. Then you have to choose the password. I'll choose the password. It won't show is since it's password. And then again press enter. Super user is created successfully. If you wish to see, I'll show you users. There you can see another super user under the name of Shaw, and we gave the email address shaw@shaw.com. There you can see. So yeah, it would create the super user, and do remember your password. Okay, and after that you have to add celery task. To add celery task, you just go ahead and copy this command and run. If it's added, well and good. If it's not added, it will add. And if it's added, it will throw an error saying that it's already, the task is being already added to the databases. Yeah, so you can see the periodic task with this name already exists, so don't worry about this. And now in two different terminals, here you can see I have already been running this command. In two different terminals, you have to run these two different commands: celery minus a, search engine worker minus minus log level info. It will spin out the celery worker, and and this would actually spin off the celery beat. So yeah, I have been already running these, so I just won't copy and paste it in another anyway. And now it's the show time to run the application. So here I have given three different types of command for the Windows, Macs, and Linux. So these two commands can be used in any kind of operating system, but this one is Linux specific. So uh, if you want your application to be just hosted in your local server, just go ahead, copy and paste this in another console. Go ahead and paste and enter. If you want that your project, sorry, this project, if you want that this project should be hosted in your IP address, your internet IP address, you have to go ahead and copy this command. And specifically if you are in Linux, well and good, you can start the application using this command also. Okay, so that's how you host the project. I'll show you. I have hosted this project on my local IP, so not local IP, in my IP, yeah, whatever you say. So yeah, there you can see these logs will be there and all and all. And yeah, there are four different types of custom commands which I have added. First is add celery task in panel, which actually adds the celery task to Django panel. I guess it was periodic task. Let me see. Let it load. It's taking damn time. I don't know why. Ayo, sorry. Cron tabs. Yeah, it's actually there in periodic task since Django actually supports SQL queries, and SQL queries has to be converted to PyMongo queries. So sometimes error may creep in, but yeah, most of the time it's robust. So don't worry about it. I'll actually show you from here. Just oh yeah, one more thing you have to do, which I totally forgot. After creating the search database, what you have to do? Yeah. So what? No, 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 no. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. First, I'll show you the periodic task. Where it is. There you see, there's an object. Again in the periodic task. Yeah. So there you can see there are two different. It will actually add two different types of periodic tasks. There you can see there are two different objects. So the periodic task actually has been added successfully. And now after starting off your application, what you have to do? Uh, not in I'll again show you from the databases. Just go to browse collections, wait for it to load, then go to search, and then you have to create a search index. uh, in order to create a search index, just click on create index. And what would be the index name? The index name would be url underscore idx. I just copy it from here. So I'll again show you. Here in the search, go to search. Just a second. Collection search. Yeah, just go to search, click on create index, visual editor, next, and the index name would be url underscore idx. And just go on and here in the database collection, I'll so what you I'll again show you. Just a sec. So I have to delete my previous search index. No, it's taking a lot of time. What happened? I don't know why it's taking really a lot of time. So here I guess pause the video maybe. No, I don't have to pause the video. I'll just go like delete index. Yeah, delete is in progress. Soon it will be deleted. No, no worries. I I had 533 searches stored, and it has properly indexed actually 533 searches. Yeah. So now what you have to do, create on search index, visual editor, next. The index name would be url underscore idx. Okay. Then go ahead and search. uh, what we need to index is main underscore crawled web pages. That's it. Then click on next and do nothing, just create the search index. Yeah, so now we are all set. Our search index build is now in progress, and soon it would be built and our search index would be ready. So yeah, this is the last thing which you have to do after starting off your application. And when the indexing is actually done, when it show that status, yeah, active, then you can actually then you can actually use this project. So this is the most important thing which needs to be done. Otherwise it would throw errors, different kinds of various kinds of errors. So this is the most important thing which needs to be done. You have to create a search index under the name of url underscore idx, and it has to crawl this collection, main underscore crawled web pages. That's it, and nothing else. So yeah, this was for hosting of Konohagakure search, and I hope you like my uh, project which enables you to search anything, basically your own search engine. So I hope you like my projects. Thanks a lot, and goodbye.